According to Cisco, nearly 90% of data breaches involve some element of phishing emails. So let's talk about it. All right, welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness Month, week 2. And it's all about phishing and the construction outside my office, but mostly phishing. So this month, it's all about celebrating cybersecurity awareness, making sure that each individual person understands the importance of taking good cyber hygiene and having it throughout their entire life. And the best way to do that is to look at phishing first. Now, I dropped the statistic up to 90% of data breaches have some element of phishing, and it's true. Usually the easiest way into a company is through email. So let's get into the 5 ways that you can spot a phishing email. All right, so the first thing we're going to do when we're looking at an email and determining if it's phishing, right? We're going to look at the email address. Now, does it match what the message of the email is? So if it says PayPal, but it comes from a Gmail account, let's look at that. If it comes from somebody's personal email because they got their email account hacked, but it's trying to sell you on a Microsoft change or something like that, again, that's a red flag. So the first thing you want to look at is the email address of the sender. And number 2 is the domain misspelt? We actually had a situation where one of our customers had a vendor and somebody got access into the vendor's side and realized they were getting emails from this company. So what they did is they went and registered the domain with an S at the end. And then they sent phishing emails into them with invoices, and guess what? They stole about $60,000 like that. So you want to look at the domain and make sure it's not misspelled, and you want to make sure the domain of the email matches, again, where it's supposed to be coming from. Number 3, it's a poorly written email. Now I know sometimes grammar is not my strong suit. Sometimes grammar is not a lot of people's strong suit. If it has a lot of spelling mistakes, if the grammar is terrible, there's a good chance it could be phishing. Number 4, does it contain a suspicious attachment or link in the email? Again, another red flag. You're getting an email from somebody you don't know with an attachment. You might want to look at that. Now, it could be an invoice or something like that, but you should know what you normally receive. And if it doesn't quite fit that, it could be a phishing email. And number 5 is, does the message create some level of urgency, some sense of urgency? Does it have you do something really quickly, almost in a rash way, where you don't make a good decision? Combine those 5 things, and normally you're going to be able to identify most phishing. Now, some is really good. Some might actually use a legitimate domain name. They might get away with it. The extra letter at the end, like an S, that can throw people. You may just not see it, especially reading it on a phone. But again, put those things together, and when you look at an email, if you kind of run through that list, it's going to help you identify most phishing emails. So now we know what it looks like. What do we do in our business? All right, so what can we do in our business or individually to minimize the impact of phishing? Like, what can we really do? Well, number 1, train your users. Put them through some sort of awareness training, but it's got to be fun. It's got to be short. It's got to be engaging. It can't be these long, boring awareness training videos that people don't want to watch. So we got to make sure that's something that keeps people engaged. Number 2, have an established policy and procedure for reporting phishing emails inside of your company. It's pretty easy. If somebody gets a phishing email, they should have a policy for how they handle it and a procedure for what they do. Now, most of the time, it's let somebody know, notify support, maybe notify your outsourced IT if you have outsourced IT, or internal IT if you have internal IT. Notify them and let them know that, hey, look, I may have received a phishing email, so I'm reporting it to you, but I want you to look at it to make sure that we think it's both a phishing email. Number 3 would be to encourage information sharing inside the company. So now that somebody has used the policy and they've followed the procedure, if they know they actively received a phishing email, tell their coworkers. Let them know. If it's a family thing, tell the rest of your family, saying, hey, look, I received this email. If you receive the same email, be careful with it. It's probably phishing. And number 4 is turn on link protection for emails. Having safe link protection is pretty critical, because what it can do is if somebody gets a link, now this can also apply to attachments. There are some attachment things to do too as well. But if it looks at a link, it scans it, maybe it puts it in a sandbox and it detonates it, means it goes to it, and it tries to look for the history of that link to see if it's a malicious link. Is it 100% effective? No, nothing's 100% effective, and don't let anybody ever tell you that. But it does reduce your risk. It does reduce the chances of somebody clicking on a malicious URL. And if it is marked as phishing later, sometimes you can even pull those emails back from people's mailboxes. And number 5 is have software that makes it easy to report the emails in general as phishing. So it could be a button inside of Outlook, or if you're using Google instead of Gmail, it could be a button that gets added or an add-on that gets added that can make it really easy to report that as phishing. That way, there's analytics behind it. And if you're using like a third-party product, they can get that information, report on it, and say, okay, look, we're getting a bunch of notifications from a lot of users on our system. We're just going to start blocking that email. So those are the 5 things that we can do in our business, even some of our personal life, to really protect against phishing. All right, so I hope that was helpful in helping identifying phishing emails in general, and then kind of like the ideas behind what you can do inside your business to protect yourself. Even individually, even in family, these are things you can do to help. There's things like if you want to contact us and let us help you, we'd love to. You can direct message us. You can comment down below. We can give you some tips and tricks on how to do it. If enough people ask for it, I might post something where it kind of helps you identify phishing email. But you got to ask. I'm going to look for maybe 50 likes or something like that, and maybe a couple of comments, and then we'll post it. Yes, that's kind of clickbaity, but bear with me. We're trying to get engagement with our videos. We're trying to help more people, and we need more engagement. So that's what it is. But if you know somebody that needs help, let us know. If something like this has happened to somebody that you know, if they've had a business email compromise and they're looking for ways to protect their business, we can help you with that. We can do some scanning too as well to kind of look for configuration changes that need to be made. But until next time, until next week, stay cyber safe.